Hello there. Okay, that's a really bad Welsh accent. I'm in rainy Wales right now with Mr. Camera Lady, and we've just done a billion escape rooms, but it's rainy outside. And I thought you might want to know a little bit more about me, or maybe you don't. But anyway, here's 10 facts for you. Now, I know a lot of you people out there think my name is actually Alto, but my name is Kean. K-E-I-A-N. And my parents decided to go with a weird ass name because they thought it sounded nice, but most people spell it K-I-A-N or C-I-A-N. But they decided to add an extra vowel in because yay! If you actually Google what Kean means, it's actually like a Japanese era or something. Keep calling me Alto because that kind of makes me laugh when people think that actually my name is really Alto. Who's called Alto? Speaking of Alto, how did I actually come up with the name? Well, Alto Key, firstly, is very easy to spell and was available on all social media platforms. So whenever something like that comes along, I'm just like, grab it. 2, it starts with an A, which is very high up on the alphabet. So when you're scrolling through your music, you can be like, A for alto. An alto key is actually a musical phrase as well because a key of music and you can have different keys, and alto would be like one range for like an alto singer. This might be a bit pretentious, but I actually was kind of thinking of like an alternate Kean. So like it's my alternate persona is doing all this music stuff. Next fact, I have monkey feet. Basically, for some reason, I have a weird gap between my big toe and my next toe long, and it means I can grab stuff with my feet. For example, look, proving the monkey feet. See, I'm a bit embarrassed having my feet out in public at the beach. Like, I might be the weirdo to wear socks. But hey, monkey feet. Useful if I ever lose my hands and I need to still play piano. If I was an animal, I would be a wolf. Basically, when I think about my personality, I'm 50% introvert and 50% extrovert. So I like to be by myself, like a wolf, a lone wolf, if you will. But I also like to be in a pack with other wolves. And I also wrote a song called Running the Wolves. I guess I just have a thing for wolves. So therefore I would be one. Anyway, I can burp on command, which is a very useful life skill. It actually does come in handy if you're kind of like very gassy and I need to get out the gas. I'm like, I can burp this out manually. For any of you eager people out there wondering how do you do it, I think you kind of like get your lung air and then you shoot it up from your lungs into your face. Once you practice it for a bit, it just happens. Moving on, I've lived in 5 places in the UK. So Bath, London, Kent, and Maidenhead. So my family are from the Kent area, that's why I've moved a few times there. I went to uni in Bath, and now I'm in the London area for like the music stuff and the job stuff and all the other stuff. Obviously I love London the most, but it's the most expensive and I'll never be able to afford a flat. But it's a great place for music opportunities and meet other people. For now, I'm part vegan. Throughout the week, I do make a conscious effort to cut down my dairy intake and my meat intake, and on the weekend, I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Everybody's gonna have their own reasons. I don't necessarily think you have to completely cut it out of your diet, and if you do that, it can be really hard to commit to it, or maybe I'm just really bad at committing. But I feel like doing part veganism is better than not even trying at all. Anyway, before I offend more people, let's go on. I have a third nipple, which is not what you think. It's not like a proper, like, big nipple, which just like works the same way as all the others. It's basically like a birthmark / spot. I don't know, maybe it's not even a nipple. I've diagnosed a nipple because it's fun and it also gives me a fact for this list. No judgments. I rarely read and I'm totally embarrassed by it, especially as I'm a songwriter and I write lyrics and I read lyrics, but I don't actually ever really commit to reading a full book. I'll often buy books with the intention of reading them and then they'll just sit there and I'll be like, yeah, you just stay there. I guess I just don't get that much enjoyment out of reading like a long fiction book when I could watch it in a condensed film format. If I do tend to read, I tend to do it for like learning purposes or non-fiction knowledge. But it does make some awkward conversations when people are like, oh yeah, I read like 20 books this year, and I'm like, I read none. Final fact. I have food allergies. So I'm allergic to nuts, peanuts, kind of fish, and for a long time I thought I was allergic to basil. We went to see a private doctor who came up with some random tests to kind of prove that I was allergic to basil, but it was no scientific basis for it. It's only when I read the scientific report later, I was like, oh, what? When I was an adult, I was like, I'm gonna get myself tested again, and they were like, you're not allergic to basil in the slightest. So basically, my entire like growing up, I didn't eat any basil. I basically went on this crazy basil binge when I was an adult, getting anything I could with basil in. Fresh basil, basil in pizza. And I was like, I need to relive the memories I missed. And fish kind of like sometimes sets me off a little bit. Not as bad as nuts and peanuts. But I'd say tuna is my guilty pleasure because it sets you off a bit, but I just kind of like eating tuna. So I'd be like, it's so good. The problem with allergies is everything's so like well documented nowadays and you go to restaurants and you can eat, but it's the one time you kind of slip and you're like, I'll just have that. That's when you die. So hopefully you enjoyed learning more about myself. Why don't you leave me a comment down below if you want to hear more facts, or maybe leave a fact about yourself. Maybe not your credit card information, but any facts, which is fun. And I want to thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Really appreciate it. Bye!